Hello everybody and welcome back to our new round of the Superleague Lights Championship. We are here at the Bahrain International Circuit and we are about to get underway with the qualifying. 47 laps this race will be, and we're going to have a great race just like last time. I'm here joined by Ewan. Ewan, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you, Liam. Great to be back, and I love the circuit as well. Should have really good racing, plenty of overtaking opportunities. So, yeah, really looking forward to it. Let's get qualifying underway.
Yeah, that's the thing. Last time we were at Melbourne, maybe a bit harder to overtake than Bahrain will be. So, very curious to see what this track will bring, and obviously strategy. Last time it was almost 2 stops all the way, except I think Quinte who did a 1 stop. Which didn't quite work out, but I think there will be a bit more strategy differences here. I think the 2-stop is still the fastest, but I'm very curious to see if someone will try the 1-stop around here. And then the question is, do they do it on the hards or do they do it on the mediums? So that's something we're going to have to look out for. As well as private qualifying, obviously, a new rule introduced for 2021. No more slipstreaming, and especially around a track like Bahrain, that's going to be huge. So just, it's all about you this time. No slipstreaming, no help from anyone else, no blocking. It's all about the driver as we are now going into the qualifying session. And let's see who gets the first fastest lap.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see what setups people will go with. Pescara historically go with a low downforce setup, which means that they'll be fast in a straight line. Fantastic around Bahrain, down to 3 long straights, but then you've got the twisty bit in the middle that they will suffering. So, without that slipstream advantage that no doubt Pescara would have utilised, they're going to struggle maybe a bit more than other teams who maybe would have just gone for a normal lap anyway. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes. Zabinski on track gets us underway.
And it's a beautiful car, isn't it? The PLS Hyperion Esports car. I really love the color combination, but then again, I love yellow, so it's no surprise. So most cars now on track, a few not, but that's to be expected. Most are out, and Matthew Williams topped the practice session, and he won obviously Melbourne. He got pole, he led every lap in the race, fastest lap, he did everything perfectly in Melbourne, and he's now got 26 points and looking to add another 25 or 26 in this race. And he's done a 27.6 in the practice session, followed by another 0.6 from Harvey, and then 0.7s from Deegan Fairclough and Sandeep Singh. Now I'm expecting the times to get a bit faster. But who do you think has a good chance on getting pole here? Do you think Matthew Williams is going to get another pole position, or do you think we're going to get a surprise?
Well, if he's even half as good as he was in Australia, you can't really pick anyone else, can you? He was so fast down in Melbourne. So Matthew Williams coming back already topping the times in practice. It'll be interesting to see with the tyres we've already spoken about last time out. The tyres are designed to deg a little bit more this year. So whether that's going to be a reason, as you were saying, they were about 3/10 off what you're expecting. Whether the tyres are just starting to let go at the end of a single qualifying lap, we'll have to wait and see. And as you said, strategy will be key as well. So pole won't be as important as it was in Melbourne because of the overtaking opportunities, but Matthew Williams did look fastest earlier on.
He did, and we're on board now with Mateusz Zubinski. You see him fighting the car. This car is personally a nightmare to drive in qualifying. It's really hard to get a good lap, and you see him looking for grip, making so many corrections, especially in turn 1. Don't be fooled by the purple times, because that's gonna say it for everyone in the first lap, because there's no official time set. His first sector is not bad though. It's one of the fastest on track actually. The fastest. Oh, as he spins.
There he goes.
Yeah, it's not easy. That turn, especially turn 10, very tricky. And well, Matthias Izbisky gets called out by it. And this purple sector is the only one on the track that's actually correct at 27.0 in the first sector. The fastest on track. Only 3 thousandths faster than Martin Hemmingsen, who got P2 last race. So Hemmingsen and Williams proving again to be the favorites. Let's see, the second sector is a 10 slower than Thomas Harvey actually, but Thomas Harvey had a very bad first sector, 3 tenths slower, so it's going to be interesting to see what Matthew Williams and the rest are going to do. I think the best shot to get current pole position might actually be either Williams or Hemmingsen.
Yeah, absolutely. Williams, this is exactly what he did in the last session practice before he came on air, is fastest in first and third sector, slower in the middle sector compared to Harvey in particular, who was fastest through the second sector in practice. So that's one to look out for. Maybe Williams is taking some of the downforce off faster down the straight in sector 1 and sector 3.
And Williams does go into P1, not sure, the timing screen is not showing it, but he does get P1. Well, in the bottom screen you can see it, but not on the tower. Hemmingsen does go P2, only 200 slower. So it's already a very close match as we're working to get the tower working again. Currently, I'll go through the standings. Williams P1, Hemmingsen second, only 200 between them. Then a 2/10 gap between Harvey, Perklov, and Lalu. As we see Serracino now okay, there we go, that's how it works. And Serracino comes across the track, very good lap, goes on to P3. So that's a name we didn't really see much of in Melbourne.
That's impressive from Giuseppe Saracino. Interestingly, Harvey was about 2 tenths down on the first sector he did in practice, so we know there's a bit of time to unleash there for the TR Bluvos car that's in 4th place currently. We also saw Fairclough go a little bit faster than he has so far, but obviously 10 minutes left of the session, all can change.
And talking about change, I'm not sure what's happening. I think Sandeep's on his outlap, Sandeep Singh, or his in-lap rather, but he is purple. So I'm not sure if he's gonna pit now or keep pushing. He is in the pits. So on his in-lap, Sandeep Singh set the fastest middle sector. That's interesting.
Oops. By a long way as well. By a long, long way. 2 tenths faster than Williams even. So, yes, stonking middle sector from Sandeep Singh, but obviously on the way back into the pits.
Maybe set a banker time currently 8th with a 27.8. He's already done a 0.7. So we know that these can go a bit faster, as most drivers are now in the pits. So first round of laps done. Top 20 within a second. It's very close here once again. I think it's not quite as close as it was in FC. I'm pretty sure the top 13 were separated by 3 tenths there. But we're not too far off. It's about 5 tenths at this time. As James Lambert comes across the finish line, I think he's on the mediums. We need to see it in the camera pan. Nope, he's on the softs. Okay, I thought he was on the mediums earlier, but he went out on the softs this time. Puts himself into 24th and not last position, because that goes to Jack Mayer, who has done a 34.9. Okay, he's surely going to improve. Jack didn't have the greatest of first rounds. Obviously has been busy with the broadcast, working on that and stuff, so excusable, but we expect a lot more. I haven't raced him last year. He's a very good driver. I would expect him at the front.
Especially when his teammate is setting the world alight in first in pretty much every session as well. So that's not helping Jack's outlook at the moment. We are on board with Ivan Leonov, who got some good points last time out in Melbourne. He had a few skirmishes, but got away with them and got back up to the top. He's with the team that is leading the championship as well, Riva Racing. Interestingly, just talking about other people who did well in Melbourne that aren't doing so well here. Murray Watson's P17, George Whitehouse B18. They were in the top 10 for most of the race. Watson had a collision and dropped out, but Whitehouse came 5th in Melbourne, and he's struggling for pace here.
Well, talking about someone who's also not doing well is Walborn, because he's just joined the session. I thought he wasn't racing, but apparently he is. And Max Rifle also has joined the session. So we are full grid, 30 cars on the grid, and Ivan Leonov goes into P12 with a 27.980. And everyone else now starting their laps. And look at Matthew Williams, goes purple by a mile, over 1.5 tenths faster in Sector 1, as we're looking at Harvey, who himself has done a 27.1. but at 27.1 high. So Matthew Williams looking very fast. And I think Martin Hemmingsen has made a mistake because he's very slow, 1.5 seconds slower in sector 1. So he's probably just going to cruise to the pits and get some other attempts in. But let's look at Matthew Williams here as he comes to the left-hander.
Yeah, nice and easy through turn 11, squeeze the power on. You've got to carry all the momentum through 12 and 13 down onto the back straight. Here he is over the sector time. Wow. Another 2/10 again. He is absolutely flying. This is right on course for you, a 127.3, maybe even faster down into the final corner now.
Yep, and Harvey also fast, but just not quite as fast as Williams is doing. So we could see Harvey jump up to P2. As Hoekstra also jumps himself into P3. Grip maybe increasing hard, and well, it's a 27.2, a nice lap time with some very satisfying looking numbers. 27.217 goes into pole position. Harvey 2/10 behind as predicted. P2. Hemmingsen stays in P3 as he ruined his lap. Douwe here also made a mistake in sector 2, so he's probably going to be cruising back to the pits, and everyone else. Actually, Matteo Keersmakers goes purple in sector 2. Matej comes across the line, goes 4th. And where does Keersmakers go? Does he go across the line? He's not yet across the line. As we see the Neptune from Ewan Lindberg improving. As Keersmakers, okay, he cancelled the lap. So, gets purple, but still cancels it. That's interesting, just like Sandeep Singh did earlier. And here comes Ewan Lindberg, improves to P22.
Interesting then with 5 minutes left to see some drivers have had 2 laps. I think Kintai's just done his first lap. So one last go, really. They've got to get back to the pits. Of course, you can't escape to the pits and rejoin the track. So they've got to get back to the pits in double quick time and get prepared for your final lap. Here comes Paolini, slower in the middle sector. Will he peel off into the pits? Or no, he will carry on.
He's going to improve though. I think he's going to improve in time, yes, and position. P8 for him. And one interesting thing to note is that this is the first round where we have no upgrades this time because that's been delayed for the next round. So the next round in China, we will have different upgrades on each car. Each car will be different speed and different areas will be developed. But for now, the engines are not of equal power across the board. And especially Neptune have 2 new engines. So they should be, in theory, they have the advantage here. So interesting to see what that brings them. So far, they're quite far down.
Yeah, and it was the same in Melbourne as well. We were expecting a little bit more from Lindberg and Olsen, and they didn't quite materialise in that way. So we'll be able to see what they can do this time out. Janus Volborn, as you said, late to the server, but he's out on the lap now. He's about 4/10 down already after 2 sectors. That would only put him P9 at the moment. Let's see what he can do through the final sector. We'll probably get one more lap after this if he can get back to the pit in time. And Volborn goes 13th.
So maybe he's late because he had to do the test. Not sure why. Probably is the reason. And but he's back in the server and he got 1 qualifying lap in, 13 so far, and he will get 1 more chance. Talking about 1 more chance, Hemmingsen here done a 27.074, which is only half a 10 slower than Matthew Williams in his first sector. So if he can nail these second and third sectors, he could challenge that pole position time.
Yeah, and we'll wait to see again what is the setup. We know Harvey's fast in the second sector. What's Hemmingsen going to do? Comes over the split time now, and yeah, he's down a bit again. So Williams looks untouchable again, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does, but Hemmingsen just really pushing the car, goes over the curbs a bit, and I know that loses you time, so maybe over push his limits a bit and might struggle to pass Harvey even. Yeah, he's going to need the pit, so that little mistake cost him too much time, and the little squirrel at the end at the final turn also cost him too much time. Sandeep Singh also didn't complete his time, so he's now into the pits going out on track again, as we're looking at Ewan Leonov, who's actually setting a very good second and first sector, so let's see if he can improve. He should be able to.
He should be able to, as Kizmakers, I think, jumped up there.
Not if you do that, Ewan Leonov, and he spins. Does he hit the barrier? Yes, he does, but he's very close to the pits. Doesn't stall the car, so, well, he doesn't improve. Hits the wall, and at least he's able to go to the pits and get a final attempt in very soon. As we're looking at Wopke Hoekstra, had a, can I say disappointing? He still got points, but I'm pretty sure he got points. But yeah, we expected him to be up front, and this time he is. He's P7, and he is improving in Sector 1, only a 10 slower than Matthew Williams. Let's see if he can keep it up in Sector 2. No, he cannot. He improves, or he doesn't improve on his own time, but this could still be an improvement, and he only has to win 200ths of a second to win a position. So any position counts. Let's see if he can do it.
Yes, so tight up the top. A bit of the squirrely moment out of the final corner. Obviously, double apex on exit as well. Hooks right over the line and doesn't move.
He does improve though, and so does Deegan Fairclough going up to 5th. He did improve by, like, what was it, less than 100th? So he doesn't gain the position.
Inching closer.
Yeah, true. But it's not quite enough, and I'm pretty sure that's his last lap time because it's 1:27 to go to the pits. Still have to do the out lap, and he's not gonna make it. So for all of these guys that are now on a hot lap, unless you do 2 in a row, which I don't think the tires can handle, this is the last lap. So George Whitehouse also put in a great performance last week. Had some mistakes, or 2 weeks ago rather, had some mistakes, but showed great pace. Now 3/10 slower in Sector 2 or Sector 1, another 2/10. Did I say seconds? 2/10 slower in each sector. So an improvement, not looking very likely, but if it is, it will be a small one. Let's see if he can get into the top 10.
If he does exactly the same sector time as he did last time, he will not improve.
Going to the pits, I think, and that's...
Yeah, he got out of shape out of turn 11.
Oh, he doesn't know what to do. He almost hits the cameraman, and Sandeep Singh now on his final lap is improving in Sector 1. Can he improve in Sector 2 as well? He's already gone faster in practice. He just hasn't been able to put a lap together, it seems, so far in the actual session. Will this be the lap? That's the question. He's a bit slower in Sector 2, but it's not by too much, so he could still improve.
And if you're frustrated at yourself because you know you can go faster, you tend to overdrive the car and you lose a bit of time as he makes a bit of a mistake into the final corner, just too late on the brakes. That will cost him time. Let's see what he can do across the line. Sandeep Singh does not improve.
Very bad Sector 3. Is he going to do another push lap behind? He did this purple Sector 3, remember? So, Sector 2 when he was on his second lap. So, in the meantime, Tepper jumps up to 3rd. Now he's being demoted to 4th. But there's only 1,000s between him and Harvey. Fairclough is done for qualifying. Here comes Paulini, goes into P9. It's so close between everyone. And Williams also done with his qualifying session. He did not improve in the final attempt. Guglielmo Matti, who surprised me last weekend on very good tire wear coming across the final turn. Now, can he improve somewhere? He's currently P18. He should be able to improve. Ooh, he improved his time, but did not improve his position. He ends up in P17, and looking across the board, Thomas Harvey is still busy. He's got a green Sector 1, so does Jubinski that we're looking on the screen right now. Hemmingson also still going for it, but not quite improving. So some people still going for an attempt. Matteo Keersmaker is also green, Walborn green, and Sandeep Singh crashes out. I'm not sure if he was on an improvement, but he has not improved overall. So I think the people to watch now are Zubinski and Keersmakers. Those are the only two really improving, as well as Walborn, actually. So let's see, Zubinski first. Can he get another green Sector 2? Yes, he can. So he might jump some places. Lalu also doing a good lap. He's only less than 3/10 off. So if he gets a good final sector, he could jump up to something like P7. Really? So let's see if he does that.
Yeah, it comes around a final corner now. It is a very good lap for his last lap. Pekka Lalu over the line and goes up to P8, top 10. Not bad at all. Dubinsky P14. Volborn needs to put in a good lap.
Good stuff. P9 for Janus Walborn. And look at Keersmakers and Lalu. I said he could jump up to P7. Instead, he's equal on lap time to Keersmakers and gets put into 8th by the game. So, and Walborn slots in 100th behind, and then another 1,000th behind. It's Wopke Hoekstra. How close can this get the top 20 in less than 8/10 of a second?
So close. Sandeep Singh, P15. 4th in the first race, P15. A lot of work to do for the Pescara.
Yeah, but he's only 2/10 slower than his teammate who's in 6th. That's how close it is. And You really need to nail a lap, otherwise you're gonna have issues. But this is Bahrain, and we have the tire route. The top 10 needs to start in on the softs now because they all qualified on softs. Everyone else, they can choose. So Sandeep Singh can choose to go on the mediums or the hards if he desires to do so. And that's always interesting to see, in the information app, see who goes on what tire. What do you think is the best way to go, are you? And would you go on the mediums, even the hards? I think we won't see too much of the hards, but you never know. Or would you still go on the softs?
I'd be starting on mediums if I was in P11, P12, P13. I think it's a no-brainer. It's probably a nailed-on two-stop. I can't see anyone trying a one-stop, but if they wanted to, starting on the mediums opens that up for you. It also opens up using softs at the end, of course, if you're trying to blast your way through the pack. Interestingly, if I'm Matthew Williams and I've got the same pace as I had in Melbourne with the gap he created, even a three-stop might play on my mind. Because he might have the gap to be able to pull it off. Even if he comes out 3 seconds behind someone, he'll have so much pace at the end of the race. A three-stop might work if you're that far ahead. We'll have to wait and see.
So qualifying results over. Matthew Williams qualifies on pole for the second time in a row with Hemmingsen behind him, also for a second time in a row. But then Thomas Harvey slots in third in TR Blue Voss with Douwe Tapper, a very impressive qualifying onto P4. Deegan Vergeloof behind him. Was P10 last time in qualifying, didn't start the race, so hopefully he does find his way onto the grid this time in the P12 crossfire. Then Quinte for Pescara ADG 6th with Keersmakers behind him. Tukapeka Lalu, not known for his qualifying speed, yet he finds himself in a good position, so interesting to see what he can do. Yanis, wait, does he not have a grid stop actually? No, he had a time penalty, did he? Yes.
Time penalty, 40 seconds. Yeah.
Yes. Dennis Walborn, despite not having the greatest qualifying running time possible, he still qualifies 9th with Bob Hoekstra, starting out the P10, the last of the people that have to start on the softs. Paulini 11th with Saracino 12th. Poland, who's a new driver, which we haven't really talked about, in P13. George Whitehouse, P14 with Sandeep Singh in 15th. Those two will probably be a bit disappointed, but interesting to see how they can fight their way through the grid, if they can at all. With Zubinski 16th, Hemming 17th, also probably rather disappointed with that. Guglielmo Matti in 18th, with behind him Dabrowski, Leonov in 20th only, for Revo Racing, and then 21st is Pascal Schmidt as the next one, please. There we go, on demand. Then the two TTFs, 21st and 22nd. Amari Watson stops in behind him with Jack Mayer. Also not where we expect to see him. And then the two Neptunes in 25th and 26th. Mac Brakel in 27th with Park in 28th with the two Cosmos. Actually, the 286 and the two Cosmos slotting out the grid. So that's the grid for today. We'll go through it over and again in the Formation Lab. Interesting grid. A lot of people down the field, which we would expect to see a bit higher. And I expect we're going to see quite a bit of overtaking, especially from people like Singh, like Whitehouse. But then again, I'm also curious to see if there will be DRS trains or not.
I think there will. I think it will be much like in Melbourne 2 weeks ago. I think we'll have the first part of the race as everyone's settling in. It will be quite stagnant and people are trying to hit their pit window. And then as soon as tyres start to wear off, I think we'll have a bit of chaos like we saw last time, and that's what we'll see.
Yeah, we had a very calm beginning of the evening last time out, and it transformed into action. So let's see if that's going to be the case again. And I'm also curious to see if the overcut or the undercut will be the way to go. Last time, Matthew Williams really made it work on the overcut. Everyone got stuck behind everyone else, and he made it. He calculated it perfectly and got out in clean air and just drove it to the distance and never looked back. So we're gonna see if that's the way to go or to go for the undercut in just a few minutes. We're gonna go on a little break, so don't go anywhere. We'll be back soon. Welcome back, everybody. We're about to get underway for race. Well, I want to say race one. There's only one race. 47 laps is the race of the Bahrain International Circuit, Sakhir, Bahrain. So, we are just done with the Waal session. Very interesting to see that many people are also pushing the tires. And some are preserving them, it seems like. People in the 31s probably preserving them a little bit more. 30.0, Jan Ternjak Hark. That is definitely a push lap. So it's going to be interesting to see if people are really going to be able to push hard and go even for the 3-stop, as you said, because tire wear is a thing. But I think what we're expecting, Ewan, is the 2-stop to be dominant here, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think a 3-stop is absolutely going to be a gamble. It makes sense if you're down the back of the field anyway, as Ternjak Hark has been so far this season. So, it's got to be a 2-stop, surely. I mean, it worked in Melbourne. It's going to work here, surely. We've got people, like we said, people like Singh, P15. He's going to start on the mediums, you would expect, and try and do something from where he is. People who are starting on the softs from qualifying, they're pretty much nailed on to do a certain strategy. At least if you're on the softs, you've got options throughout the race. On whether you keep with, say, 2 sets of mediums, whether you go onto a set of hards and try and extend, whether you go onto 2 sets of softs, it opens the window up for you, basically. So really interesting to see how strategy affects this race.
I would expect soft, medium, soft to be very easy, unless your tire wear is just insane. Hards, unless you want a 1-stop, I wouldn't expect to see them used, but even then, if you're really careful in your softs and mediums, you can make that work with a 1-stop. However, is that worth it? That's the question. And I hope we get it answered soon, because I'm excited. People are now coming onto the grid, and obviously our factor is a bit glitchy, I hope. Sandeep Singh seems to be on the softs so far, but now everything is about to get shaken up with the R-Factor tire model issue that always happens in warm-up or in information lab rather. So let's go through the grid, shall we? Matthew Williams again on pole with Hamilton again behind him. Harvey slots in the second row with Dawit Tepper. And then Diego Fairclough, Quinte slot in the third row with Kersmakers and Lalu on the fourth row. Then we have Jens Wolborn in the Racer GP together with Bob Hoekstra, running out the top 10 with Dino Paolini, first one with free choice, and then Staricino for the HG Sports Blue Bolt car in P12 with Polands. Pretty sure he's making his debut here in Superleague Lights on 13th with Vilas behind him, Sandeep Singh in P15, and Mateusz Juwinski on P16. Frank Hemming on 17 with Guglielmo Gamatti behind him, then Mateusz Dabrowski and Ivan Leonov, who also scored some very solid points last year, leading the team's championship in 20th. Pascal Schmidt and Higa Poom, both TTFs together, so maybe got the most out of the setup, 21st and 22nd. Amari Watson and Jack Mayer on 23rd and 24th respectively, with then the Neptunes, the 8.6s, and to round out the grid, the Cosmo Powerwork cars. So 3 teams at the end of the grid together, a bit cozy. But yeah, not what you want to see them if you are the team boss, of course, or one of the drivers. But hopefully they can work their way up the field, and we're going to get some nice racing going on here. So, the tires have loaded. Dino Paolini, Saracino, and Poland and Whitehouse all on the mediums. Sandeep Singh and Ziubinski decided to go for the softs, and then everyone behind them, Hemming, Matti, Dabrowski, Leonov, Schmidt, and Poom also all on the mediums. No hards. So that's all like expected. They're not really a great tire this year. So far, everything like expected. But we do see some guys behind that are going for the softs. Ewan.
Yeah, and I think that might just be to try and make up positions quickly at the start. Just seeing you've got 4 people on the mediums in front of you, you should be able to make light work of them in the opening few laps. That gets you up to P11 straight away. Then you can get your racing going in the mid-race. Then you can get a little bit clever with strategy. So, yeah, hopefully they can make places up that way instead.
Would be amazing. And let's hope that it's just going to be another Matthew Williams runaway. It would be great for him personally, of course. But we want to see overtakes. We want to see action. We want to see excitement. And I have a feeling we have a good shot at it, despite Matthew Williams being on pole again. This could be a very interesting run. Let's see what they do. The last car is now lined up on the grid. April cars forward, lines her car up, and the lights should go out anytime soon as we get underway. The beautiful Stex car in pole position with the Riva Racing behind him. Not really behind him, as well behind him, but also besides him. And there come the lights. We have 2 lights on, 3 lights on with 4, and the last one. And there we go. We're on the way for the Bahrain Grand Prix. Martin Emmington gets a bad start. Dawood Tepper actually gets a very good start. So does Harvey. But Martin Emmington still in second position. Does it stay clean here? Ooh, it seems like the order stays the same so far. There is a little bit of wheel banging. But so far it all seems relatively clean. Engine smoking, that should be resolved pretty soon. Maybe radio is a bit too low, waiting a bit too long. And everyone gets through cleanly.
Yeah, looked like Lalu got held up out of turn 3 and lost a few positions. Hoekstra and Volborn up ahead of him. But like you said, pretty much the same up top as Keersmakers, and Fairclough goes side by side into T6.
Oh.
Fantastic racing from the two of them. And now Pescara down the inside can tie it up into P6.
Oh, nice move. And there, Volborn hits the back, and there's an incident somewhere. Oh, there's cars. I see a car flying, I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure who that is. Or am I just seeing stuff?
Might be Matty. Matty's dropped down the order, down to P28, 29.
Something happened there. Actually, I don't think anyone has damage, so maybe my eyes to see. Oh, Matti does. No, I have no front wing. Okay, so it was Matti then. Good eye. Unlucky for him. He showed some real good potential, really, in Melbourne. And, well, he's going to have to pull a hell of a drive out now. But we have Williams leading from Hamilton, Harvey, Tepper. Nothing changed in the top 4.
No, and then it all changed behind as Fairclough and Keersmakers got their elbows out. That was fantastic racing through T6. And this is what this circuit really encourages, is side-by-side racing out of turn 4 through turn 5, turn 6. And then you get your DRS down at the end of that.
Yep, not quite yet though. Lap 2 is going on the way now, so they have to wait for another lap. Actually, someone going into the pits already. That is one of the
lap Lindbergh.
It's Lindbergh indeed. Does he have damage? I am not. No, he doesn't seem to have any visible damage. Is he going onto the hards? What is he doing? I don't know. I'll let you know. He is going onto the hards. So I don't think you can go the ends. But interesting strategy. Matti, maybe they are the two that collided. Here we see them. And Lindbergh gets on the way again. So maybe has some suspension damage. Is twisting his wheel a bit to see if everything's fine, I guess. So I think it's fair to assume 1 + 1 is 2 and that they hit each other.
Yeah, you'd think so, and to be honest, there's no real. It's a gamble in it to go on the hards now. There's no point in doing the same as everyone else when you've pitted on lap 1. So hards make sense. Get as long into the race as they can and see what they can do towards the end of the race as other people hit issues.
That's very true. So far, seems pretty calm. Look at the gaps. They're very well. The gaps just gone, but they're very equal to each other. The whole top 7 stayed the same, despite Quinte overtaking and Fairclough overtaking. Yeah, seems like everything stayed the same. Volborn, Hoekstra won some places. Saracino as well, in favor of Lalu, who lost the positions. Here comes Sandeep Singh, busy with his charge on those soft tires. Ooh, tries to go down the inside, doesn't quite get it. And there, well, he gets a big straight now and a nice little slipstream for himself. Can he do it? No DRS yet, because the lap where DRS is enabled starts now. So no DRS, but he is side by side. Does he have enough top speed to make this happen? It should be fine. He's got the inside line. Lalu and Saracino in front, swap position. So Lalu also gets position. Sandeep does as well. Now, can Sandeep Singh move up a position to Saracino, because Saracino is on the mediums as all behind. There comes a dive. They hit each other. That's George Whitehouse. No, is it? It's Poland's with Whitehouse.
Whitehouse on Poland.
Yes, and he hits the inside, and that costs Poland another position to Frank Hemming behind.
Yeah, and Poland's just getting his elbows out as he goes down the inside again and almost touches Frank Hammond. But yeah, Whitehouse on those softs, Singh on those softs. I think Lalu Passaracino also on softs against mediums. So the softs are working really well at the start of this race, but the mediums are going to come into their own in a bit as well. So this is not over yet for that bottom 10, well, bottom 10, I say bottom 10, between 10th and 20th. If they're all on different strategies, that's going to yo-yo before the first stops.
And even the people on the softs could be on very different strategies, even if they're all doing 2 stops, you know, soft, medium, medium, soft, medium, soft, 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 medium, you know, there's a lot of choices. So, yeah, I'm very curious to see, but it seems like so far, just like in Melbourne, a very calm start of the race. as Martin Hemmingsen actually says the fastest lap time. He is in the DRS of
That's promising. That's really promising, because now at least we've got something hanging on to the back of Williams, unlike in Melbourne, as Leonov looks to the inside of Poland.
Teammate of Hemmingsen gains the position. Didn't he start 20th evenly enough or something around that area? Gets the position done. Nice move onto Poland's. Poland's maybe got some damage from the touches earlier, but he's falling back as there comes another car. That's Jubinski, who's trying to go down the inside of Poland. Maybe not quite has the race pace of the others, but some nice racing so far.
Yeah, there's only been a little bit of contact, and it hasn't really been nasty contact either. It hasn't been what we saw from Melbourne on the last lap, which is good news. We don't mind a bit of rubbing as long as it is fair and hard racing. Back up the front, Hemmingsen's still in the DRS of Matthew Williams, and Harvey's not too far behind either. So these guys will just string each other along now, I would expect, until the first pit stop. Then we'll see them pitting on different laps. That's where the gaps will be created, and that's when we'll probably start to see a bit more racing between these guys.
And I assume the undercut will be stronger because here it's so much easier to overtake. And the question is, does Williams even want to lead? That's also a question, because DRS, you can save so much tires in a DRS train that, you know, being the leading car maybe is not even the best way, but he is weaving, so it does look like he wants to hold on to that position. Hemmingsen seems to have, at the moment, more pace, but is that on purpose, or is that just a tactic by Williams to save the tires? That's the question. As we see Hoekstra now very close to Walborn, and he goes down the inside. Does he get the move done? Walborn is still on the outside. Next corner is the inside, and cuts back. So nice move there from both of them. Well defended, and Hoekstra will have to slot in behind.
Yeah, good racing. He's going to go back into turn 4 around the outside. We've seen this work. Now he'll cut back, can't get it done. Good defensive driving from Walborn. But yeah, Williams up front, what you've got to remember, much like Melbourne, is that the guys behind him are eating their tyres in the dirty air through this middle sector, especially through turns 5, 6, 7, where they're, you know, fast little sweeping left and right handers. They're going to be hurting so much on the front tyres, and then out of the traction zones, the rear tyres are going to be eaten up as well. So Williams has got the high ground on the tyre strategy at the moment. He can probably go 1 or 2 laps further. Okay, he might put himself at risk of the undercut, but then he'll have fresher tyres towards the end of the Grand Prix.
That's true, but it could also work both ways. You both have dirty air, but you also get the massive toe and DRS. So it's really going to be interesting to see, is it worth it, you know, sitting behind someone and saving your tires? And it's going to be evident, you know, because even if you have the DRS and the slipstream, you still have to have good pace to keep up with a driver like Matthew Williams. So they could be eating up their tires to even try to stay with the DRS. But to me, it doesn't quite look like it. It looks very easy for Hemmingsen. But then again, you just don't know how hard Williams is pushing.
No, and it might get to the stage as well where Hemmingsen thinks, you know what, this isn't working, I'm going to drop back. Maybe 1.5 seconds back, enough so that Williams is still in his eye line, but then he can push for 2 or 3 laps at the end of his stint, create the undercut opportunity, and then get into the lead of the race that way.
It would be interesting if that panned out that way. Currently, we are looking at the very close fight for 5th. Quinte has gotten through on Fairclough. We must have missed that, but he has done that, so good job by Quinte. Let's see if he can catch up to the people. There's a yellow flag. There's people dropping on the timing screen.
Might be Poland.
I think Leonov and Poland have maybe gotten together. Let me look that up for you. Well, Poland's for sure. Let me look at the replay. Yeah, that was actually quite a big hit. Looks like Ziubinski got hit as well into both Poland and Leonov, and they all lost time. That's why they are so far down on the timing screen. 21st, 24th, and 25th.
Not good, but you know, Poland was struggling, he was tumbling down, and he was getting quite aggressive in his defence as well. So not at all surprising, really. Haven't seen how the first 5 laps have gone. Obviously lap 6 now, and they've had problems probably getting to the pit at the end of the lap.
Poland's on the outside of Ziubinski now, outside your screen. Do they touch again? Looks quite safe so far. They're still side by side. Oh, Poland does it there on the outside. That's a great move from him. Further up, we still got some battles. There's too much to keep track of at the moment. Can Ziubinski move back up? No, he cannot.
Dropping.
Dabrowski, that is actually. My apologies. So nice.
Volborn's dropping. Volborn's had an issue somewhere. Yellow's in second one. He's just stopped.
He stopped. Has his engine blown? That is worrying. Volborn, is that him done? It should be him done. Very weird.
Wonder if it's a tech issue
It
as
has
well.
to be. I'm looking at him now. I'm looking at the replay, and his wheel seems to have just disconnected, turns left completely, and that's the end of his race for sure. His car was still running, so it's not an engine failure, but Wallborn, podium finisher last time out, wasn't doing too bad here, but well, not an engine failure, a technical failure costs him the race, and he's now the first retirement.
That's a bad lap or so for Razor, as well as we have side-by-side action. I think that's Mayer up into 14th already, making the most of people struggling throughout the race so far. So Mayer up inside of Schmidt into turns 9 and 10. And look at the gaggle of cars behind as well. We've got Paolini in there. Olsen, who we know has got a new engine for Neptune. And Omori Watson as well. We will be disappointed that he's down in 19th, fighting for position as well.
These people are making a real nice comeback so far. Jack Mayer started somewhere in the 20s, and now he's 14th already. So very good job by him. Also, Omari Watson and Tobias Olsen, they're really picking up those places. Obviously, that incident earlier doesn't help, well, does help rather. As we see Hemmingson really close to Williams. Doesn't seem to have a desire to pause just yet. He's really close, within 3/10, as he'll drop further now, obviously, because of the dirty air. Do you think Hemmingson will go, ooh, locks the tire, a bit goes wide, but should be more than fine. Do you think that Hemmingson will go for a move soon, or do you think he'll keep waiting?
I'm not sure if he's trying to wait. I think Williams is just that good out of the traction zones. As here we go, up the inside is Zabinski on Reichel, I think. Or was it Reichel? No, it's Zabinski on Reichel. So good move there from the pole, and yeah, trying to work back from his contact with pole lens and lane on there.
Yep, and one thing we talked about, Singh is getting closer to Sochino, but obviously it's not quite as much as he would want. The difference between the mediums and the softs. Maybe he's preserving the softs to go for a one-stop. I'm just naming something, I don't know. But I reckon there will be some people that do that. I just wonder who. And, you know, it could be that no one is doing it. But it's definitely possible. Nice little power slide by Heigo Poom there. Which, fun enough, his car says Poo in his abbreviation on his car, which is a fun fact. Very immature fact, but a fun one. So, he's currently in 16th, battling with Pascal Schmidt and Dino Paolini. But I'm surprised about Jack Mayer. He's 14th. He started. What did he start? 24th or something like that?
Yeah, he was way down the grid. Also, another difficult qualifying as Hammond makes his way up into P12 ahead of Whitehouse. So Whitehouse already starting to struggle a little bit on those mediums of pace. Hammond moving his way past. Seppi Saracino looking good in P10, only 10 seconds off the lead on the ultimate strategy. See what he can do through the rest of the race.
Yeah, he could in theory just go soft and be, you know, have a pace advantage in one of the stints. So very good job he's doing. Frank Hemming here being reeled in by George Whitehouse. Can there be a move done here? But as well in front, Quinte is not really getting closer to the group that are all having DRS, the group of Williams, Hemmingson, Harvey, and Tepper. And talking about that, Deegan Fairclough has been passed by Matteo Kersmaker. So Fairclough not quite showing the pace in the race so far. But, you know, it's not too bad.
No, he was the same last season in Formula Challenge. He was a bit harder on his tyres than everyone else was. Also shows how fast he can be as well. But yeah, if that's what's starting to happen already on lap 9 and people are starting to get a bit more traction maybe out of the tighter corners, then you know that's probably going to hurt his strategy options throughout the race. So still back in the DRS, so he's still got a chance to get back at Kismakers, who's going to go defensive down into turn 1, and Deegan's not afraid to send one down the outside. Now this is all about who can get the power down most effectively out to turn 1 all the way down into turn 4. But of course, Kismakers has got DRS as well, which will help him.
Surely he's going to go for it again. Very close to the car of Matteo Kersmakers, but unless he can get the cut back here, it doesn't look to be quite the way. But it just looks like he's destroying the tires to me.
Yeah, he's really heavy on the accelerator, isn't he? And like I said, that's probably why he was so close down the pit straight, considering he'd just been overtaken. But it will be eating his tyres up, and it will mean he'll probably have to pit before other people. Might not be a bad thing with the undercut, as I think Kismaker's locked up into turn 10. But yeah, Fairclough might pit earlier, might get a bit of advantage at the start, but then his tyres will fade quicker towards the end of each stint. That will hurt him.
And that's not what you want, but I wonder when the first pit stops will be coming. I expect in a lap or 3, lap 13 seems reasonable for people if they really have ruined their tires to go for the pit stop. As we're looking for in a massive, really, a train behind Jack Mayer. Jack Mayer is on the soft compound. Maybe the tires have dropped off a bit because all those medium tires seem to be very fast behind him.
Terniak Hark has just come out of the pit, so whether that was scheduled or not, I'm not sure, as Hemmingson does the fastest lap of the race. So they can't be that bad.
He was less than 2/10 behind him at the end of the first turn. So Hemmingson, he's even pulled out of the DRS, or well, rather, he's pulled away from Harvey behind him. He doesn't have DRS anymore, Harvey, so gets the fastest lap by a mile. I think it's like 2/10, so very
Schmidt
good.
down the inside of Mayer, I think. Schmidt down the inside of Mayer, and gets all out of shape. They're going to be side by side through turn 3. Mayer's going to hang on, but Schmidt's got DRS. Teammate is going to be formation flying down the inside. He looks, and Mayer cuts him off beautifully. Schmidt had the move done, but he just got all out of shape out of turn 1, and he sort of just gave Mayer the advantage, gave him the high ground, and he'll have to try again on the next lap. Good driving from Mayer though as well to keep out of contact.
That was some traction out of that turn. Wow. Very good move, defensive move to get the position back that he had already. And now, well, Schmidt really wants to get past because it seems like he has so much more pace, but couldn't quite do it that lap. So let's see if he can do it the next lap. He's still quite close, still has the DRS of course, so can he get Jack Mayer?
The thing is, Schmidt now already 5 seconds off the back of Whitehouse, who's on a similar strategy. That's quite a big gap to make up. So Mayer really hurting these guys. Schmidt, Poon, Paolini, all on the medium tyres.
Yeah, you really want to get past as soon as possible, but you don't want to ruin the tires. Martin Hemmingson. Oh, what am I saying up front is that a 5 times Harvey is being overtaken by Douwe Tepper. Douwe Tepper's done the move. There comes Thomas Harvey though. He has the DRS and the slipstream goes around the outside. Can he get this move done as we go to another car? But there they come. Douwe Tepper is the inside and should have this done. Nice move by Tepper. Goes into third. Now, can he go closer to Martin Hemmingson?
We've also got Lalu past Hoekstra as well. So Lalu flying on his soft. So 130.7 on the last lap was his personal best on lap 12 of the stint. So good work from Rebecca Lalu. Obviously trying to make up as well. He lost his points from the last race because of his collision with Kintai, who's now P5 in this race. We had another pit stop as well just now. I think it was Matty again. So be interesting to see when the front runners come in to change off their soft tyres.
Well, seems like Tobias Olsen is also pitted. He has gone onto the mediums. He started on the mediums. Did he go from mediums to mediums, Tobias Olsen? That's not great. Only 11 laps. While the front runners are still going strong. Martin Hemmingson close as ever. Will he go for the move? The gap's only 4/10 and a bit. He's got the DRS, he's got the slipstream. Can he get it off screen? No, it looks a bit too far, but he's very close. He just doesn't look like he wants to do it, or he wants to be 100% sure, but they're still running away quite handily from Harvey and Tepper behind. Tepper now the first lap in clean air. What can he do? Can he match the lap times of these guys?
Yeah, Hemmington's just not quite close enough to get it done into the first corner on the brakes as Mayer comes in for a pit stop. So that releases Poom, who's got past Schmidt actually. Poom past Schmidt, his teammate. But Poom, Schmidt, Paolini, Watson all trying to catch back up to Whitehouse. Now have 6.5 seconds to make up.
That's quite a task, you know. So yeah, Jack Mayer into the pits, goes on to the mediums. That's only 11 laps that he's done. That's also not much. Might go for the 3-stop, like you suggested earlier. But I think everyone else is already pretty clear for a 3-stop. Otherwise, you really have to ruin those tires up quite hard. But do we get to see one of the guys pit? Is that one of the front runners? I don't expect the top 2 to pit unless Hemmingson wants to go for a crazy undercut. I don't know what quite the pit gap is. If it's like 22 seconds, he just comes out ahead of Poom and gets into clear air. So it's definitely something to consider. Sandeep Singh, in the meantime, gets a purple sector 2, so maybe he's pushing. Also, green in sector 1. Could go fastest this lap.
It's going to be about 25 to 30 seconds, I'd imagine, in the pit lane, so they'll come right out in that swarm of cars.
Makers into the pits. There we go. These are the first of the front runners to pit. What tire will they go for? Keersmakers and Fairclough. They were very close on track. Could even see an undercut here into the pit lane. Oh, Deacon Fairclough gets away very carefully. So let's see Keersmakers. There is obviously a bit of variance in pit stop times, but it looks safe. Keersmakers keeps his position. And where do they come out? They come out in no clean air. So this could be an issue for them.
Yeah, behind one of the PLSs, I think. So, yeah, a lot of traffic for them. And crucially, that means there'll be a lot of traffic for the leaders as well. So Dabrowski in front of them. And, yeah, that will be painful now for most of the stint. A lot of these guys already on the medium tyres and will be difficult to pass.
Whoa! I'm looking at Martin Hemmingsen. He's actually seems to be like he's pushing a bit more to pass Matthew Williams, and he's had a lot of wheel spin in that turn. As we also see Quinte very close to Harvey, so it might be close to Harvey's pit stop. Oh, Quinte aggressive on that turn. Yeah, it looks like Hemmingsen does generally have more pace than Williams at the moment. He had a lot of wheel spin, almost spun it out of one, I think it's turn 11. And Matthew Williams goes into the pits. So does Martin Hemmingsen. They both go into the pits. This could
What's
be
the
very
traffic going to be like? They're
Everyone.
all in. They're all
going. Quinte and Harvey, and Quinte breaks late, and they fudge. Oh, that was. I don't think it would have done anything, but that was a very slight kiss. And they're all into the pits. What is happening? No one could do an extra lap. Well, apparently Sandeep Singh, who's now going for the lead on the inside of Serracino. Off your screen, Serracino turns in, but he gets the move done. That looks safe to me. Sandeep Singh into the lead. How much has he saved those tires? We talked about him earlier. Matthew Williams goes back into turn 1. There's Amari Watson, I think.
Oh, there's going to be a car between them.
That is crucial. That is Amari Watson in between. Is that Amari Watson or Deacon Fairclough? It is Amari Watson. Okay, so Amari Watson in between Matthew Williams and Martin Hemmingsen. That is just like what happened in... Oh, he's through already. Oh, that was quick. Okay, so it's not quite the big deal that we thought it was going to be. What tires is Matthew Williams on? He is on the medium, so is Martin Hemmingsen. What can Sandeep Singh do now? Because if he saved his tires, he's on a 31.2 last lap. That's good. That is a good lap, so gonna have to keep an eye out for that. I don't know why the timing screen says Serracino's first, because it's not the case. Singh is first currently. Here he is. There we go. Swaps around. Perfect. So, will he go out? He's still on those soft tires.
Surely he's going to pit on this lap. Surely he's going to pit, because he's been fighting people all the way through the race. He must have worn his tyres out, unless a Pescara is that good on the tyre wear. Let's see what he does.
He just goes
on. Carries on.
But what lap time is he doing now? He's doing 30.7. That's faster than the leaders were doing when they pitted. That's really good. That's only 3/10 slower than the fastest lap. That's a very good pace. So he's trying the overcut here. I don't think he'll quite get position, but one stop? I don't think so. But here comes Williams. He's gonna go on the inside of. Oh no, that's not Amari Watson. That is Schmidt, and gets the position there. Williams, well, should be easy. So much fresher tires, but now it's crucial for Hemmingsen to do the same thing on Schmidt, and for Williams to get through soon on Poom.
It makes sense for Singh to stay out though, because if he's 8/10 faster than these guys, then he's making up time on the people he was racing who have already pitted and then gone into their traffic of their own. So Singh could be pulling off a blinder here. It's exactly what Williams did in Australia to make his gap.
The thing is, though, he was already about 10 seconds behind, so I don't think it will be anything for the win, unfortunately for him. But yeah, he is winning.
No, but even where was he? P11, P10. So, you know, if he can raise up, we saw Volbon do exactly the same thing as well. As Williams goes down into T11 on the inside of Schmidt. Schmidt didn't really fight it. I think he knew that was as good as done before. But look at Hemmingsen. He's got both of the TTF cars between him and Williams now. And Williams must be laughing in his seat.
Okay, Sandeep Singh now. He's going into the pits. Okay, so had a very good, actually. He was the fastest that lap, even including Matthew Williams. Obviously, Matthew Williams did not have the cleanest of air. But Sandeep Singh now into the pits. So what tires is he going to go on to? I don't expect hards, but if he goes hards, he could maybe try a one-stop. But I doubt it. No, he's going on to the medium. So he's going to do the same strategy as most other people. There is Hemmingson on the inside of... That's Schmidt, right? Yeah, that's Schmidt. And now he's going to maybe even go for the double. Can he get home here? I don't think. I think he's a bit too far. But the longer it takes, the more that Williams will be running away.
Yeah, and well, at least he's one out of the way, but it's taken him a while considering Williams got 2 on the same lap. And Poom doing a nice job though. Poom's doing a really nice job. So is Schmidt actually to carry this strategy through. Interesting to see where they filter out and obviously what strategy they decide to go on. They might be able to go soft at the end and nick themselves a few points. Hemmingson has to get this done into turn 11, you feel, because Williams already 2 seconds up the road.
Yeah, the sooner the better. And I don't think Poom will defend anything. This is a lost fight. And he gets the move done, as we saw a very short sector 1 yellow. So someone made a mistake. Quinte tried it down the inside of Leonov, but not quite going to happen. Gonna have to wait until one of the next straights here. And looking at
it was...
Sorry, yeah, go on.
I was just going to say that Lindbergh is DNF'd. I think that might be what the yellows were in sector 1, Lindbergh DNF.
Okay, that's unfortunate for Lindbergh. Had the 100% engine, wasn't able to utilize it. Unfortunately, Sergino in the pits on the medium. Here comes Quinte down the inside. Doesn't get the arrest for the next straight, not sure. Oh, well, doesn't matter if you get that out of an exit if you're called Leonov. Goes to the pits. Now they all go to the pits. They're side by side. And wow, that was quite interesting. I think that's Polans and Leonov both side by side into the pit lane. And they both make it work. Just about.
Fairclough on the outside of Kersmakers.
That would be the move. And they are fighting for position. And gets a good exit, Fairclough. He's definitely going to go for it again into turn 4. Oh, all the time you have to leave the space. Goes around the outside, but he tried that last time and it didn't quite work. This time he has the undercut, but nope. He blocks it off into your Kersmakers. Nice defending. And Fairclough, don't hit the back of him. He's fighting so aggressively. Jodier is going to kill that attempt off. Ooh, a little shake at the end there. So not quite going to happen. But what I wanted to point out, I think Singh has actually been overtaken by Hoekstra, because I was going to talk about him being so close to Harvey, which is still true, by the way. Harvey's lost a lot of time, but I think Singh got overtaken by Bob Hoekstra.
Possibly, and it would make sense. I think Hoekstra managed to get himself into a bit of clean air, but relative to the rest of the top 10, Singh's actually made up time. So it's still not a bad move from Singh as everyone was filtering out into traffic. Okay, he's lost a position, but overall he's closer to the pack in front of him, so probably a good decision.
Yeah, and you don't know if he's saving the tires now for a final sprint, really, as we see Matthew Williams going for a move on the unpitted Whitehouse. Easy and no problem, of course. Whitehouse on the old mediums, as we have a pitter. That's Hago Poom and Frank Hemming finally pitting now to go on to another set of mediums, it looks like. That's actually quite interesting. People seem to have issues keeping the tires in check. We might see soft, medium, medium, and this could mean that someone like Singh could go soft, medium, soft instead.
And that would really put him in the driving seat to get some really good points out of this, considering where he qualified. So, like you said, he hasn't actually made up a position. In fact, he's lost one, but he's closer to the top group of cars. And if he's going on softs at the end, and he's got that speed, especially with a bit softer tyres, because he would have gone longer in the middle sector as well. As Kintai goes fastest over the race.
Kersmakers is out. That's a massive crash. Kersmakers no front or rear wing, and I'm afraid that's all on his own. He hit the curbs. Oh, he does have a rear wing. Okay, but well, that's not much better. No, he doesn't have a rear wing. There you go. It didn't update. And well, that's terrible. He lost it all on his own on the curbs of the exit of turn. I think it's turn 6 or 7. Not quite sure, but yeah, not what you want. And that's his chance for points. Well, not chance. It's going to be hard to score any points after that.
Looks like he's crabbing a bit as well, so that'll be a bit of suspension damage. That'll be even longer in the pit lane if he wants to get back. Here goes Hemmingson on Whitehouse. Should be pretty easy, as we saw Williams do last time. The Schmidt comes into the pits as well. But yeah, Hemmingson up into P2. So Williams and Hemmington separated by about 2 seconds, and Tapper's lost a bit of time through a pit stop window as well. This is what we were expecting. Quite calm through the first part of the race, and then it just explodes into life from the pit stop windows onwards.
Bobke Hoekstra tried to move, and timing screen is having some issues. Keersmaker is only now dropping off. I don't know what's going on with that, but here goes Bobke Hoekstra around the outside of Harvey. Harvey seems to have no pace, or Bobke Hoekstra instead does seem to have all the pace. He's around the outside. This is tricky. Oh, what a move!
Great racing.
They're still side by side. Now the inside is for Thomas Harvey. This is where Matteo Keersmakers hit the curbs and spun off. But it is the move done. It seems like Bobke Hoekstra. What a move and what a battle.
Brilliant work from both of them, wasn't it? Perfectly clean, brilliant racing, and Hooster's going to be talking about that for a while.
That's what you like to see. That's really good. So we currently have the lead still. Williams, then Hemmingson. The timing screen is still wrong, but it's Williams, then Hemmingson. And 2 seconds is the gap between them. Definitely, you can definitely reel that back in. He's done that before. So why not now again? So seeing good fights all over the track, really. Fairclough also struggling a bit against Lalu, Bobke Hoekstra, and Thomas Harvey. I think we might see a move from Singh soon. We're looking at him now. Does seem to have just way more pace than Harvey does. Harvey really seems to be struggling on those medium tires. I'm not sure what happened, why he lost so much time. George Whitehouse now pits, by the way, so he managed 20 laps on those mediums. Does he go into the hards? No, he doesn't.
And Frank Hammond's out the race as well, so his start to the season gets even worse for Frank Hammond. Fantastic driver. He was right up there last year, but not working out this season for him so far. DNF in Bahrain round 2, not helping his chances.
No, just went into the pits, and I think he just pulled over, really. That's unfortunate. Definitely not what he hoped to achieve. Seems to have had a very long pit stop for damage. And did this engine blow because of that?
Just meanwhile, Tiger Poom passed Tobias Olsen a little bit easier than it was for Hoekstra a minute ago, but down the inside into turn 4 and just shuts off the corner into turn 5 and 6. So good move from Poom. He makes up a position up into P14 now for TTF.
So an update on Frank Hemming. It seems like he had a very long pit stop because of damage, and the engine didn't like that and blew up in turn 1. So officially an engine failure for Frank Hemming, and he's out of the race.
Yeah, it's a shame. Like I said, we know he's a good driver, and we know that it's a good team, and really should be up the top fighting with the rest of these guys. Talking of fighting, Singh is right on the back of Harvey. We know Harvey's struggling, and we know that Singh is on some fresher tyres as well. So here he goes, DRS. Harvey with no DRS. This should be pretty simple down the inside into turn 1. Easy as you like. Sandeep Singh up into P8.
I still think those cars look very similar from a distance, but yeah, makes a nice move done. Harvey seems to have no pace on those tires. Singh does have the pace. Ooh, well, actually almost comes back there. But yeah, I made it very easy. I think Harvey knows that there's little sense in fighting this, and Singh goes through into P8.
So through the pit stops, and we know that Kintyre's made up a position into P4. We know that Mayer's up into P12, so that will be because he pitted so early. That might come back to haunt him soon, as Lambert and the Cosmo makes a pit stop down the back. They've actually done a nice job to get up into P23, 24. And this is the thing, as people start dropping out, your Cosmos and your 8.6s, they'll start picking up points because they just get to the end of the race nice and steady. So Tenyak Hark, I think, has had a problem. He's dropped down to a lap down now after pitting. And yeah, just keeping an eye. Still only 3 people out of the race so far.
So Lalu looks to be reeling in Deegan Fairclough for P5, as well as Quinte reeling in Tower Tapper. The latter will not have any movement yet, but Lalu looks to have a very nice slipstream. Deegan defends. Oh, that's very, very on the limit. Lalu has the inside now, but a very, very inside line. Can Deegan Fairclough win anything back on his next trade? He will have the reason. Oh, he home spins. That's a brilliant save from him, but over pushes the rears, and well, that's a brilliant save, but it's not going to help him for the position, but he keeps it on the track.
He's box office to watch, isn't he, Deegan Fairclough? Absolutely electric, and you know whenever he's on the screen something exciting is going to happen. Look how close Kintyre is to do the tapper up in the battle for P3 as well. So Pescara looking dangerous at the moment, Singh coming through a top 10, and Kintai looking for a podium position.
Yeah, it seems like Quinte has so much more pace than Tepper, but they're 8 seconds behind Williams. Like they've lost a lot of time over the pit stops, especially Tepper, because Quinte was already quite far away. Seems like in the second part of the stint, there's some people with real good pace and some people with some average pace, and Pescara seems to have amazing pace right now.
But it might depend as well on, are people going fast at this point because they know they're going on to another set of mediums, or are people trying to extend the stint so that they can get onto the softs at the end? So that might be why there's some pace differentials throughout the field. It'll be interesting to see how that works its way out towards the end of the race.
Oh, it does. And Quinte, is he now close enough? We see him here. He has the RS open. I don't think he's close enough yet, but, well, he can't get it much closer into turn 1 here. Can he line it up for turn 2? Obviously a bit shorter of a straight, but yeah, it looks a bit like he doesn't have the traction here to get close enough. Singh, in the meantime, gets to move down on the Wop Kookser. They're still side by side. Wop Kookser engine is actually smoking. Don't forget, his teammate just had an engine failure, but that was because he was staying still for so long. This could not be good news if you're Frank Ham or if you're Wop Kookser rather.
I was going to say that I could see smoke coming out of the rear, out of the final corner. I just wondering whether he's tucked up behind Singh for too long. Maybe he wants to get outside of the slipstream and get some cooling. Oh, there you go then.
So
that's worrying.
Yeah, that's not looking good because it's still going on, and we already seen one of the HM engineering cars die just now. I would be worried if I was him, especially because he now has dirty air. Like, he didn't have dirty air before and he was already smoking. Now he's got dirty air.
We're only halfway through a race as well. It's not as if he can just sort of nurse it home for the last 3 or 4 laps. We've still got 23 laps to go, so that's problems. Big problems.
You need to short shift Opke, and he doesn't. I'm looking at his onboard. He doesn't seem to be short shifting. I'm worried. He's dead. There we go. That's the engine gone, and we saw it coming from a mile. But it's over for the HM engineering car number. Don't know. Doesn't matter. He's out. Oh, he's number 33, just like Max. Okay. So that's unlucky. He's out of the race, and well, we kind of saw it coming here.
But that's a nightmare for him because he was doing so well. He fought his way up, and we've just seen him pull off that fantastic move into this corner here, turn 5 and turn 6, and then through turn 7, and yeah, that's just terrible luck for Bofka. And for the HM engineering guys as well, terrible race for them.
Yeah, 0 point, and that's not what you want to see. But I guess just being too optimistic on the radiator settings made the engine overheat. I thought the first engine failure for Frank Hemming was because he stood so long in the pits, but seems to be another issue, and it cost Wop Kookser the race as well. You could argue that Singh was the one that caused it because of the dirty air, probably. Otherwise, he might have been fine. But yeah, that's not very nice, and end of the race for them.
Right, the 2 people on the screen at the moment, Jukka Pekka-Laulu and Deegan Fairclough, were the fastest out of the top 10 on the previous lap, and they are reeling in Alessandro Kintai and Duo Tapper as they fight. So will they work together in a slipstream formation and pull in a potential podium position, or will they start battling again? We know that Fairclough and Lalu have had some good battles so far. Tapper, the defender from Kintai, they were only going to get closer, and we know what happened with Kintai and Lalu last time out as well, so this could get very exciting.
Well, you're saying that, but actually in the last lap that they just completed, 5/10 faster is Quinte and Tapper. So maybe they had a little bit of a scrap going on in the previous lap that we missed. Maybe that's why they were slower a bit, but
it's probably because I said something, Liam.
Yeah, I think you jinxed it. I think you cursed it.
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe you just need to stop talking, you do.
Yeah, I will remove myself.
I will be doing solo comms from now on. No, please don't leave me. I need you. Sandeep Singh and Thomas Harvey both just did 30.4s actually. George Whitehouse 30.0 and Martin Henderson 30.2. Those are the 4 fastest on the track. So those are definitely people to keep our eyes out for. Singh obviously on the newer tires. got quite a big gap in front now. But Deegan, he is reading in Deegan and Lalu by, well, last lap he did it by over 0.5 of a second. So that could also be an interesting fight going on.
Talking of interesting fights, Jack Mayer P12, Hygo Poon P13. We know Poon was one of the last to pit in at the end of the first stint, and we know that Mayer was pretty much the first. So massive tyre difference in terms of whereas Poon goes a little bit wide through turn 12 and 13. But yeah, so Poon all over the back of Mayer. Maybe Mayer already starting to struggle a bit and going defensive into the last corner. You don't see that very often.
When you weave like that, I'm curious, it's probably just faster to just stay in a straight line if you're behind and let the guy weave and scrub, his top speed off. But yeah, these two have a little bit of history. So let's see if there will be more history being written here, as Poon has DRS, has a slipstream. Mayer doesn't even seem to defend. Can he brake later though, as we get a yellow in sector 1, a very short one. Poon gets by, easy.
I think he wanted to set up the run down into turn 4 maybe, but he didn't let him through fast enough and didn't get the DRS for that to work. So probably not the best for him, as Kintai goes P3 into turn 9, I think, as well. So that's a good move. Maybe Tapper must have struggled with traction out of turn 8 up into turn 9 and 10, the double apex left-hander, and Kintai goes into P3 and will now set off after the top 2.
So Quintay actually already got him into turn 1, and then they had a nice little long scrap up until turn 5, where Quintay claimed victory. So yeah, good move by him. Now the gap to the car in front is quite high. He's lost quite a bit of time, but can he pull away from Tepper now? The gap to the car ahead is about 9 seconds. Maybe too optimistic, but there's still 20 laps to go. Let's see what he can do.
Especially if Hemmingson is sticking with and perhaps even closing in a little bit on Williams. Williams was a tenth faster on the last lap, but we know that gap was 2 seconds at one point. It's now only, what, 1.4, 1.3? Hemmington staying with Williams. If they start fighting, that gap can close pretty quickly. So let's see what Kintai can do.
And don't forget undercuts. Okay, it's going to be too early now, but let's say Hemmington would pit now and he could make the 20 laps. And he could undercut Williams. That's also massive, because he's definitely in the undercut or overcut range. We don't know what's faster. That's the weird part, and that's the fun part. Last time they pitted at the same lap. Will they do that again? I kind of doubt it.
And obviously the other thing as well now, Liam, is that the field is slightly more stringed out, so you're not going to have the traffic issues as you did last time. If you were to pit now, you'd probably have to overtake a car and then make a 3-second gap up to the next car and another 3-second gap. It's not just going to be car after car after car after car. It should help a little bit with figuring out when to pit, when not to pit, and how you actually make an undercut work.
Yep, and the guys ahead are now really pushing, it seems like. 30.0 and 30.1 from Williams and Hemmingson respectively. Behind Quintay, 7th and slower. Tepper, probably because he had a little battle, but he is 1.5 seconds slower than the leaders. And he's, let's see if it was a one-off, but he seems to keep up decently with Quintay as they are coming across the finish line now, just in front of Lalu, who's also driving very fast, and just did a 30.5. Okay, so pace about equal across the field, but the top 2 are really pushing right now.
Yeah, and behind Kintai, we were talking in qualifying about how Pescara usually go for quite low downforce setups and aim to be really fast and straight. Tapper with DRS was only a 10th faster down the pit straight.
And that's a nice advantage to have, especially if you want to overtake. Probably helped Quintay overtake Tapper as well earlier on, as we see Jack Mayer, well, this is not Jack Mayer, but this is Tobias Olsen into the pits. Goes on to hopefully his last set of tires. The mediums will have to do 19 laps. That should be doable. Jack Mayer also went into the pits. He went onto a set of the mediums as well for himself. So we have some people pitting, and I don't think it's too long before we see more pit stops coming in. The question is, will people go on softs or will they go on the mediums? Martin Hemmingson, by the way, really reeling in. That's hard to say. Really reeling in. Matthew Williams. The gap's now only 1.2 seconds.
So I'd imagine that you'll need 6 more laps before you get into the stage where you can get soft tyres on if you wanted to do that. Kismaker's down into P21, 22, 21 after his issue earlier, trying to fight back, pick up as many points as he can. So Kismaker's not giving up, fighting for everything he can.
Yep, and the gaps are about staying equal. Everybody doing 30.3, 30.4, 30.5. It's quite consistent. I'm just, I think it's going to be quite calm until the pit stop phase, unless Topper can catch back up to Quinte. He obviously got passed, but he does seem to have the pace to keep up to him quite easily. Yellow flag in sector 3. I'll have a quick scan, see what's going on. But I think everything's fine. It was just a short one. Maybe someone had to take the escape road. Well, not really escape road, but more the extra track. So just a short little yellow there. Yeah, it seems like Hemmingson may be the guy with more pace today in the race. Well, obviously he's not ahead. So the pit stop phase is going to be crucial as well for all those people behind the guys that we're looking at right now. Quinte, Topper, Lalu, Fairclough. It's all going to be very important for them.
Yeah, Olsen down the inside there of Dabrowski into the first corner. Bit of contact goes round. No, what a save that is. Probably slammed the brakes on to make sure he didn't turn him round. That's going to give Reichel plenty of chance, who's in P21, but he can't. And do you know what? Ooh. Another slide as well. So Dabrowski's been in all sorts of fights today, the pole, and yeah, now he's going to have to keep Reichel behind. Or is it? It's Reichel.
Yeah, you can't say he didn't have quite the entertaining race. He's still having a car behind him that is not Olsen. Who's that? Is that Keersmakers? Yeah, that's Keersmakers.
Yeah, it is Keersmakers.
Ooh, Hamilton's around! Hamilton has spun around! That is very bad for him. He's trying to push up to Matthew Williams, and he's just spun out. And now he's almost spinning again. This is not good for him. Quinte is very close to him. I think you almost have to pit after that. Your tires must be flat spotted to hell, really. That was not... He just overpushed it in turn 4 and lost it. No! Wait, it was a back marker! Oh my! A back marker hit Martin Hemmingson. That was a Cosmo. The Cosmo of April Corsford. That is... Oof.
That's not good. Paolini in the pits, by the way. Paolini in the pits. So he's the first of what we would call the front runners to make his second stop.
Wow. I can't believe that just happened. And well, now the gap from Quinte to Hemmingson is only 1.3 seconds. So we're looking at them right now. That has basically gifted the win over to Matthew Williams. But nothing is safe in life. And I assume Hemmingson will pit now after that spin. He will. Quinte will follow him, weirdly enough. Tepper won't. So, Quinte, Hemmingson both pit. Does Hemmingson have some damage? That could mean the pit stop lasts longer. And what tire will they go on? Will they go onto the mediums or will they go onto the softs?
I would think mediums from here.
Softs, Quinte, and
Soft.
mediums, Hemmingson. They both get away equally. Okay, so...
It's a long time to go on softs. It's a long time to go on soft.
But the track is more grip, so the tires will go longer. I think it's easily doable to go for softs, and I assume everyone else will go for the softs here.
That's interesting. I guess the fact that we've got two guys who are pretty close together on track on both strategies. We'll see who's right, but I would have put the mediums on. I know that we have the lighter fuel loads, but we were struggling to do 16 or 17 laps on the mediums on that stint, and now you've got to do the same distance for the final stint, so you've got to really nurse those softs, I would imagine.
Still can't believe that that happened to Hemmingson. There was like a fight going on with the Cosmos, and I think Matthew Williams just got past him, and then April Corsford went wide into turn 4, turned back on the track, and there was Martin Hemmingson. So that's unfortunate. Can Tepper now do the overcut? Is he going to pit this lap? That's the question. There you go. Poom's engine is also dead. Uh-oh, that's the third one. Off screen currently, but his engine is over and out with. He's in the gravel. No, he's not in the gravel. He's in the sand. And actually hitting the wall just now. But yeah, end of the race for Hago Poom. And will we see any more engine failures? We're nearing the end of the race. 15 laps to go. Singh now in the pits. Tepper in the pits. They're all going onto the softs as expected. So, wow.
Interesting to see Singh in so early, considering he went a few laps longer.
Yeah, that's actually true. Maybe pushed the tires a bit too much, but he's still gone back into P10. He's still ahead of Deegan Fairclough. Actually, was he ahead of Deegan Fairclough? I don't think he was. I think he must have gotten Deegan Fairclough in the pits, or am I seeing that wrong? But Deegan himself is on the mediums, so he's got the tire advantage on him. Quinte is on the mediums. He's reeling in Hemmingson, who's on the... Quinte is on the softs, and he's reeling in Hemmingson, who is on the mediums. So,
And Lalu's closer to tapping now than he was before the pit stops as well. So Lalu's got a chance. In fact, he's only 5 seconds off P2. That was the gap between himself and P4 before the pit stop. So Lalu looking good.
Lalu lost lap 30.6. So can he do the overcut? That would be quite interesting to see. Matthew Williams now into the pits. Easy softs to the end. Doesn't even have to worry about anything really. I assume Lalu is also going to the pits, and he does. Harvey, yeah. I would expect all of them in, to be fair. Only 14 laps to go. So
Kinsai's flying on the softs, 2 purple sectors.
Yeah, and he's right on the till. He's going to make a move 100% here. He's so close to him. Mitch Williams comes out the pits, will go. Okay, Thomas Harvey stays out, so he will not go into the lead. That is Harvey, but we're going to see a move. Quinte is reeling him in. He's going to go for the move here easily. Hemmingson defends. Quinte chooses the outside here. Doesn't really have a choice. Breaks way later. Doesn't get the move done here, but now more traction on the softs. Question mark. Oh, maybe enough. We're going to have to see. He's got the slipstream still. I think he might be a little bit too far, but the pace difference is very apparent, and that's all because of the spin, because I don't think Martin Hemmingson would have pitted otherwise.
No, Hemmingson just parked the car perfectly, though, didn't he? On the exit of turn 1, it just gave Kinsai just nowhere to go, really, with the better traction off the soft. So great driving from Hemmingson, and Kinsai will have to come back again, which of course he will, because he's got such better tyres on his Pescara.
29.3 last lap. I don't forget there's a point for fastest lap, so I'm sure Matthew Williams is gonna just save his tires there right now and then go for one fast lap. That's what I would do, at least. So I'm assuming he will do the same. An extra point is always welcome. And can he get 26 again? 26 points. You know, he's done that in Melbourne. Will he get the maximum out of this weekend again? No Grand Slam this time, though.
No, there won't be a Grand Slam, but he's still got a chance of timing all of the, topping the timesheet of practice and qualifying and the race, as he did, laying off out. And that's in the Revo as well. Obviously, Martin Hemmingson's teammate, so is that going to be a problem for Hemmingson in the last quarter of the race? We'll have to see. So Leonov out with another engine problem.
Oh, did his engine fill? That's no good. Yeah, his engine did fill, so... Martin, you need to be careful. As we hear someone hitting the wall. I'm not sure what that was about. We'll get back to you on that, at least. It doesn't look to be one of the front runners.
Possibly Poom. Possibly Poom.
Poom was already out. His engine failed a few laps ago.
Of course he was. Of course he was. That's my bad.
What also happens is an overtake for the lead, which is going to happen, I think, right now. Should be easy enough. He has all the time in the world to do it, and he does it now. Matthew Williams chooses the inside. Harvey gives him all the room that he needs. Obviously, he's not going to win this battle. There's a little bit of wheel spin on the exit, but Williams back into the lead, and unless something catastrophically bad happens, he will not give this away.
And as we said, he would be. Lalu only 2 seconds off Tapper as well for P5. It will be P4 when Harvey eventually pits. So Lalu playing himself into contention for a possible podium, depending on how well Hemmingson and Kinsai's tyres hang in.
Quick tires. That's also not that easy to say. But yeah, Quinte on the softs, of course, and he is a bit further from Hemmingson now. I don't think there's going to be a move. Tapper has lost a lot of time behind Quinte. Harvey is now into the pits for his final stop, so he's going to really be pushing those softs absolutely to the limit. And looking at the timing sheets, everyone has pitted in the top 10. So everything that is right now, if you just wait for the people to pit, as Pascal Poland also pits here, and Harvey just comes out in P10 behind Serracino. Everyone has pitted, so the top 10 is now as it should be for the time being. Obviously, new tires on Thomas Harvey might see him go up the grid a bit, but yeah, everyone has pitted.
if you remember back to the start of the race, Liam, we were saying how well Giuseppe Saracino had done on his mediums at the start. He's on softs at the moment in P9 and closing in on the Fairclough. About 6 seconds to make up, but he is faster at the moment, so possibly up to P8. That's all from what he did at the start of the race on the medium tyres.
Yep, alternate strategy. Very good, and got him an extra soft stint. Being a Fairclough obviously went for medium twice, maybe a bit too much tyre wear. He's actually very close to Pascal Smith. Was I wrong in saying, actually, that everyone has pitted in the top 10? Because I didn't think Pascal Schmidt has pitted. My bad.
The two TTFs went way longer at the end of the first stint, so whether they're going to go shorter on the final stint and just absolutely blast a pair of, or a set of soft tyres, that's probably what's going to happen. Obviously, Poom not there anymore, but Schmidt may be able to work his way through the lower reaches of the points with a set of softs.
Pascal Schmidt goes into the pits. Deegan Fairclough takes all the advantage of the slipstream that he gets. So now, officially, everyone has pitted indeed in the top 10 as Pascal Schmidt moves out and Dina Polina moves in. In the meantime, Sandeep Singh, 28.9. That's a full second faster than Yuka Pekalalu. And he's only 2.3 seconds behind him now.
Yeah, down the grid as well. Matej Kiersmek has obviously had his issue in the Zedric earlier with the contact with the wall. He is in P18. He's still a fair bit of time off the points, but obviously we've seen people dropping out with engine issues and incidents already, so let's see if he can scrape a few points out of his troublesome day.
Yeah, he had a good day in... Sandeep is now behind one of the Cosmos, who has a little bit of a mistake into turn 10, but seems to be no issue. Yeah, they didn't have a... there's a crash, a big crash. I'm not sure what that is. That is Pascal Polands into the wall. And Amari Watson. No, Amari Watson. He's been hit by Pascal Polands and a massive crash has ensued. Amari Watson out of the race. He was in the points positions, did a great job. But that's the end of his race, and what a shame, because he didn't have a great qualifying and did an amazing comeback drive into the points and has been taken out, unfortunately.
Such a shame, but what were we saying about
Hemmingson
people...
and Quinte. Sorry to interrupt you there, but Quinte is making the move on Hemmingson, and Hemmingson has defended appropriately, but now there will be a second attempt. There comes Quinte, takes as much of the slipstream as he can, goes for the outside, gets blocked off, almost a similar incident to Polands and Watson. Quinte still on the outside, just gets left just enough room and has to back off.
And Hemmingson crucially had the RS, so Quinte must have been ahead at some point into turn 1 for Hemmingson to get the DRS down into turn 4. That was crucial, really, because Quinte had such a good run. But yeah, like we were saying, crucially, with Watson DNFing and Polands having a front wing gone, that's 2 of the positions that Kiersmek has needed for points already sorted for him. So, yeah, 1 more and he's back in the points. So Kiersmek is showing why you never give up.
Absolutely, as we see Jack Mayer actually fighting Pascal Schmidt. In the background, Jack Mayer has passed him. He's gone up into P12. Great comeback drive from him, but still not the positions where we expect him to be. His race pace, though, shows to be very promising. As Matej Kiersmek, just because of the pit stop of Polands, is now into P16. Only 1 more for those point positions. Yeah, we're still looking at Quinte. He still hasn't been able to get past Hemmingson. This is the position that Quinte really wants, and he is just like a heat-seeking missile for that second position. Someone coming out of the pits there, that must be a back marker. Will that cause any issues? I think it's off screen just now. I think it should be fine though. Looks to be... That's Pascal Polands, who had no front wing in the previous lap. It goes very nicely to the side of the track for the leaders here. And Quinte is still very close. But no, yeah, passed.
Yeah, he's very close, and he's got to do it sooner rather than later, because otherwise those medium tyres, with obviously the wear trends of the soft and the mediums, those medium tyres are going to be better in 5 or 6 laps time than his soft tyres. So he needs to get it done sooner rather than later. Just wondering, how easy is it for him to follow with his setup through the middle part of the lap? Can he be close enough to get back on to the back of the Revo of Martin Hemmingson to make his move into turn 1?
And this would be the first podium, by the way, of Quinte this season. Obviously, he was on for something like P5 or P4 last time out, but had that incident with Yeah, it was on for a P4. Yeah, the instant with Yukapakalalu. And he's really pushing. And look how early Hemmingsen is going, trying to break the toe. Quinte has none of it, just follows him. And didn't have the greatest of exits there. So he's quite far back. Tapper in the meantime just went a second quicker in the previous lap. Hemmingsen, I think Quinte thought he was going to go to the pits. Very late realized that, okay, well, maybe I should follow him. But yeah, the slipstream is very, very powerful, it seems. But you just need to get close enough coming out of that final turn.
Yeah, just cannot, can he? And you know, he's all of a sudden he started to struggle a bit in the traction zone at turn 1 as well. He got a little bit loose there. Whitehouse past Paolini into P10, so that's TR Blue Moss with 2 cars in the top 10 now, with Harvey in P9 as well. Saracino isn't making any inroads into Fairclough at the moment, so actually he looks as if he could be under fire from Whitehouse, and I think Harvey has gone past as well, so Saracino's starting to struggle on the softs.
Yep, that's the risk if you're taking, if you go for the alternative strategy as well. Harvey into P8, good job by him. TR Blue Moss can be very happy with this result. Harvey may be falling a bit back in the race compared to his qualifying, but P8 definitely not something to be very upset about. Quinte seems closer than before.
He was. Hemmingsen went defensive into T11. I think he must have struggled at a T10 again. So Quinte, and there you go, Hemmingsen all over the curbs as well. Yeah, Quinte closer.
He's going so far to the right to break the slipstream. Oh, a little twitch from Hemmingsen, and looks very. Oh, another twitch, and that looks very stable from Quinte. I think we're gonna see the move here, Ewan. This is gonna be the move. This is a massive chance. He's got the DRS, he's got the slipstream. Now, will defend the inside, of course. Takes the inside. Oh, he bamboozles him, but he doesn't quite dare to go there. That was risky, and he knew it, so he backed off. And now, that's the chance gone, surely.
Yeah, and by sort of not making his mind up, he didn't get himself set for the exit of turn 1 and lost the secondary opportunity into turn 4. So he may as well have gone down the outside and used the soft tyres for the traction, and sort of, it was a bit desperate, I think, from Alessandro, but he'll come back. He's still got the tyre life by the looks of it, and Hemmingsen is ragging that car around. So plenty of opportunity left. He's still closer than he was a few laps ago.
But Topper is also just winning time and time, especially as they're battling this lap. In normal laps, he's a bit slower than Quinte and Hemmingsen, or equal. But when they're battling, he's just winning so much time, and the gap is now only 1.5 seconds. So he could be in this fight anytime soon. There's 7 laps to go. He's got a shot, surely. Singh, wait, Fairclough has lost the position to Singh. Does he? I'm pretty sure Singh was, or was he ahead? No, I think Singh was already ahead. My bad.
Singh was ahead, yeah.
Apologies. I saw some movement and I thought it was that. But no, Singh was already ahead. And I think, to be fair, for Singh and Fairclough is just cruising to the end.
Inside and not quite as close.
Oh no, what? Sorry, my game like that. I thought I saw a massive crash between Quinte and Hemmingsen, but it was not.
No, they're not close enough to each other. Quinte's not quite as close as he was on the last lap, so costing himself that opportunity has pushed him back a little bit, and Hemmingsen's just been able to calm himself down and maybe bring the tyres back, because he was a bit squirrely, probably got a bit of the surface temp up, and just been able to cool him down a bit on the last lap.
I just saw 2 cars flying when I was looking at Quinte, so I was like, whoa, what happened there? But it was just a game having a little leg on the replay, so all good.
Purple first sector for Matthew Williams, so he's gone for the fastest lap bonus point then. Harvey actually faster than him on the last lap, he won 29.1, but yeah, purple sector in sector 1 for Williams for stats.
So 27.7 was the fastest previous lap, 28.9. He is on course, only 1/10 faster than Sandeep Singh in his lap. I'm pretty sure that's the current fastest lap. So can he get this lap done? He is behind that back marker, so I'm not sure if he's lost some time there. Let's see what he does across the line. Yes, Sandeep Singh did have the current fastest lap time. Gets beaten just barely, 28.876. That's a 10th. A bit more than a 10th, so the current fastest lap and the extra point does go to Matthew Williams.
Hemmingsen already going to the right hand side down the pit straight again. Quinte's not quite as close as he was a few laps ago. Might be able to set it up this time. He's closer than he was last lap. Might be able to set up and move into turn 4. But Hemmingson just doing enough at the moment. And again, those medium tyres going to come into their own a little bit in the next few laps as the softs start to degrade.
If you're Quinte, do you ask yourself, is it worth it to fight this hard and let Tepper get closer and lose this podium? Potentially lose this podium position. That is also probably going through his mind. As well as the soft also is going to lose some pace towards the end, of course.
Yeah, if you're sat where we are, you probably go third's a pretty good position. But I'm pretty sure if you're sat in his seat, you are thinking, oh, second looks beautiful, doesn't it? Especially when you've seen Hemmingson getting a little bit wild out of some of the corners. You're smelling a bit of blood. You're a bit like a shark, and you're thinking P2's perfect. So I'm sure he'll continue. I don't think he'll do anything stupid. I don't think he'll go for a crazy lunge. But I don't think he'll be happy for P3 when he knows he's probably got the pace to get second.
Yes, I think he showed that because he could have sent it last time, but he chose for the safer option and didn't want to risk throwing his podium away. And now he's just a bit too far back. He will get the DRS, but nowhere near enough to move.
Thomas Harvey's just done the fastest lap of the race as well, 128.822. So points away from Matthew Williams.
So Harvey had some pace in the tank then, and he's actually catching Deegan Fairclough by a second that last lap. Can he keep that pace up? Because that would mean that he can still get P7.
It would, and Fairclough maybe starting to struggle a little bit. We were saying about how his tyres might wear a little bit more from his aggressive style of driving. Looks like that's the case. Singh pulling away and Harvey closing it.
Yes, he is, and 28.7. Yep. Very good from him, and he's got another fastest lap under his belt. He's really reeling Deegan Fairclough in, and will he get that extra point? That's going to be the question. Or does Matthew Williams have something else in the tank? Because he has all the freedom in the world right now. He could be saving so hard and could go for a final lap or a penultimate lap, fastest lap here. That would be, I wouldn't say unexpected, because I think that's what he's doing.
Well, what's interesting is that he's still faster on his slower laps. He's still faster in Sector 1 than Thomas Harvey was.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So Harvey's obviously making up time elsewhere as Williams actually does personal best middle sector. So let's see what he can do.
Yeah, does he beat the Yeah, 28.5. There you go. So that's a really good lap. He didn't have a single purple sector, interestingly enough, but he does get the fastest lap. He was having none of it, and takes back the point for the fastest lap. That's quite interesting. I love the new rule. I love that you get a point for the fastest lap.
Yeah, it brings a little bit more sort of spice at the end of the race, especially if you're down where Harvey is. He's got 3 seconds to the guy behind and 5 seconds to the guy in front. It keeps giving people something to aim for. Do you know what I mean? Instead of just sort of driving out the last few laps.
Oh yeah, for sure. And especially Harvey seems to have dropped off a bit after. Actually, no, he's very close. The timing screen is lying to me once again. He's only 2.6 seconds away from Deegan Fairclough in reality. Last lap was 6/10 faster, so it's not quite enough with the limited laps that we have left here. Only 3 to 4 laps to go. So currently the fastest lap point in the hands of Matthew Williams, but there are on-track battles still. Quinte still not passed. Hemmingson and Tepper only 1.5 seconds behind.
Yeah, Lalu not quite finding the speed to close in. It's about half second faster on the last lap, but still a little bit too far away. Whether he'll be able to do something towards the end, we know that he's good with his tyre life. So we'll see if he can do anything for Royal Blue. And this time, trying not to hit anyone on the final lap. Singh as well, doing a beautiful job coming up from P15 on the grid in 6th. Looks pretty much nailed on for that 6th position as well at the moment. So good job by Sandeep.
Just a heads up for the viewers, it looks, you just saw on the screen Matthew Williams 28.8, but that's not the fast lap anymore. I think the timing screen has been having some issues. He's on a 28.5, and I think that's why I think the timing screen must be a few laps behind.
Yeah.
So that's the issue right now. So we'll let you know if anything changes. Obviously, you'll also be able to see it on the screen. As you can see, the Thomas Harvey lap time, that's old news. And yeah, it's going to be an interesting end. Look how close Tepper is to Quinte, by the way. His last lap of Quinte, 30.0. He's dropped off hard. And now this could be a three-way fight for the podium here.
Absolutely, it's going to be so close. And look how Tapper's all over the back, out of the traction zone at turn 8, turn 9 and turn 10. More traction zone, so Quintai's going to be struggling. DRS now for both Tapper and Lalu, but Tapper didn't actually get that good a drive, and Lalu's going to be all over him.
Yeah, he could have maybe even stunted here, but chose not to. I think that's the wise choice, Lalu. And yeah, I mean, also Mitchell Williams 30.4 last lap, so he's taking it easy right now. But Quinte, his tires have completely dropped off. He's not even making the corners. He's not even close to making the corners. And this is definitely going to mean that Tapper is going to get past. I can't see any other way. Quinte is a good defender, but there you go. Tapper doesn't even want to. Lalu, be careful. He's almost hitting Tapper. We don't want any repeat of Melbourne. Can Quinte hold on to this position? It could even be a 3 wide here. They both opened their DRS. It's almost certainly going to be a 3 wide. This
Here we
could
go.
be nasty. There you go. Lalu on the outside. Quinte has the inside. Doesn't brake late enough. Does Quinte lose 2 positions here? Slight wheel banging, but not too much. And Quinte loses 2 positions.
And now Lalu's got a chance on Tapper if he's got the drive, but he didn't. He couldn't get the power down, and now Quintai's going to have another go down the outside, probably into turn 4. Do not hit Duvet, who's so
Lalu
close.
drifts and does hit Quinte, or Quinte rather his Lalu, but he manages to keep out of Douwe Tapper's back, and that was almost going to be nasty, but it ends up
Schmidt's out. Schmidt's out. It means Akira Schmidt's got a point. Schmidt is out. I think that's possibly, we'll try and confirm that's another engine for TTF. So that's 2 for TTF and 2 for HM. That's going to worry again Martin Henderson, but we're on the last lap, of course.
Yeah, he should be fine, but you never know. You don't want to, especially don't want to commentator curse him. But Martin Emerson is a guy who does his research, but you would assume the teammate would definitely, have the same setup, have the same settings. But he has got 2 seconds to spare. Lalu is now all over the back of Douwe Tapper. Can something happen there? As Matthew Williams comes across the line and wins the race. What a brilliant performance, really. Again, he's shown utter dominance as Lalu and Tapper here are so close to each other. Wait, is this the final lap yet? It is, right?
Yeah, that's it. That's the end.
Where is the finish flag? It's a red flag being waved. There we go. That is Quinte close, but no, not quite. That's a back mark, is it? Yeah, it is. No, it's Deegan Fairclough fighting with Sandeep Singh. Singh keeps the position. No, Deegan Fairclough.
No, Fairclough got him. Fairclough got him.
Tower is lying to me. Fairclough has got Singh, just barely. It's a 10th difference between them, so that must have happened. Must have been some nice little end sprint. So Matthew Williams win the race. The timing screen glitching out has got me. I thought I wasn't the last lap yet, but Williams wins an absolute amazing performance. Hemmingson was close to him until that little unfortunate incident, but he still brings it home in P2. So the same top 2, but now Tapper joins the podium instead of Walborn. Then Lalu behind, who did a brilliant performance. Quinte just couldn't hold on. His tires were absolutely dead. His last lap of 34.0. That's not good. Deegan Fairclough manages to somehow pass Sandeep Singh on the final lap, final turn. And Thomas Harvey comes in P8 with Saracino 9th and George Whitehouse running out the top 10. So that was quite the race.
It was incredible enduro. It absolutely flew past as well. Exactly the same as Australia. It took everyone until the first pit stop phase to sort themselves out, settle into the race, and then it just kicked off from there. Fantastic race and really good, actually, examples of some really good, hard, clean overtaking, especially into turn 5 and turn 6, side-by-side action all the way through there. Engine issues, probably the story of the day, especially if you're a HM or TTF driver. Or Razor, of course, as well. So issues aplenty. Good comeback drives, obviously from Singh, who qualified down the field, and obviously from Kismakers, who had a missing front wing at one point and still came back through to 15th. And yeah, the mediums looked best at the end, didn't they? The mediums definitely looked best at the end, keeping Martin Henderson that second position.
What a banger of a race we had, and overall pretty clean racing. Yeah, I'm happy. Definitely after Melbourne, where it was so hard to overtake, it was more a strategic battle. This was definitely an eye-opener. We have great cars. We can race. It's quite easy to follow. not too easy to pass, as Hamilton showed. He was very quick, but couldn't quite get a move done on Williams. And, well, great job by Matthew Williams as well. So, obviously, fastest lap point also goes to Matthew Williams again. The full 26 points again. So he's got the maximum points so far. Can he keep that up in the next race in China? What do you think?
It doesn't look as if anyone can stop him at the moment. Hemmingson looked as if he could have today. He looked as if he really could have today, but he just could never get close enough to make a move. And it's almost as if Williams was playing with him in a way. Just saying, just to let you know, I'm in front of you and you can't do anything about it. Oh, and by the way, I'm not going to drive into the distance. Even before Hemmingson had the problem with the spin, Williams was still sort of bridging the gap, making it a 2-second gap, and then sort of yo-yoing it between 1.5 and 2 seconds. And Hemmingson was never really faster at anything, and that probably shows from the laps that Williams did at the end. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, you don't know how fast he really was and what he could have done if it wasn't for the tire saving. And I think they were pretty equal on pace, but you never know for sure. In the end, it doesn't matter because Matthew Williams has won the race, and Martin Hemmingson had to go on to the mediums instead of the softs at the end, which is actually quite surprising, seeing as most people around him did go on the softs. But Quintay pitted the same lap. Quintay, I think it is, pitted on the same lap and went on the softs, and they dropped off. He probably pushed too hard trying to overtake, and it just cost him.
And again, we spoke about setup, Liam, but both Pescara struggled on the last few laps, and Naked Singh obviously had quite a good buffer to Fairclough, and all of a sudden Fairclough got ahead on the final lap. So,
yeah, I'm not sure what happened there. Probably took it quite easy on the last lap there, Sandeep Singh. So, not sure what happened, but yeah, he got the position, Deacon Fairclough in the end. P6, can be very happy about that. So can Singh from P15 getting 7th is very impressive. So, we will be having an interview with our 3rd place finisher, Douwe Tapper. Douwe, congratulations, a podium. After Melbourne, did you see this one coming?
Not around here, let's put it that way. I was never quite feeling that great at Bahrain during all the testing. But for some reason tonight it just sort of clicked. I was never straight out the quickest, but I could just keep up with the people in front and pure consistency. And I don't know, man. The strategy also just worked great. I was a bit slower on the mediums than I would have liked, but it was great altogether. Especially having to do it on the last lap was something else. It's great.
So walk us through that last lap and just the entire last stint, really, because you were behind Quintay and Hemmingson, and you were slowly reeling them in. You probably saw them fight. Did you hope for something between them to happen, or did you always know that their tires were going to drop off, like especially Quintay, or was that a surprise to you?
Well, early on after my second stop, I knew I had a lap advantage on Quintay at least, but I didn't really know, obviously, how aggressive he would be on his tires. So I didn't really think about that. I just sort of kept going, kept plugging away at it. And slowly but surely, they started fighting more and more. I didn't even know early on that Hemmingson was on the mediums. If I had known it earlier, I would have maybe pushed a bit harder, but it's I don't know. At the last lap, or the last few laps actually, like 2 laps maybe, I saw Quintay fall back a bit. Like you could clearly see he was struggling, missing apexes, having trouble under acceleration. I'm like, well, this might still be my chance to do something here. And then, in the last lap, he had a bad run out of the last corner, but then there was also Lalu right behind me, which was, something I had to watch out for because he was obviously also going to go for it if he had the opportunity. So, I made it stick into turn 1. I parked it on the apex to make sure that none of them could cross alongside me or anything. And then I just got out of there, and into 3, it was still a bit scary because Lalu and Quintay were fighting. But then as we got into 4, I saw Lalu locking up the rears and sliding sideways. And from that point on, I kind of knew what I had it in the bag. Even though it was still scary, to be fair, because my rears were also done at the last lap. Yeah, it's great. I don't know. I just keep going on. I'm sorry.
No, that's good. Want to hear about it. So,
the energy is still going, man.
That's good. I mean, deservedly so if you got P3, especially doing it on the last lap. So congratulations. Awesome result, and good luck in the future races.
Thank you. I do want to point out, though, you mentioned after Melbourne, if I expected podium. If I'm being brutally honest, I expect, or at least I knew I had this kind of pace in Melbourne even, because I was fighting for the podium again with Quintai, but then I made a mess of it in turn 2. But yeah, I knew I had the pace. I just didn't expect it to happen around here. That's the main thing.
Well, that means that better things are going to probably happen in the future then, when you get to tracks that you're better at. I know you're really good at Canada, is it, Montreal?
I mean, a man can dream, right? One can only hope. We'll see. I'll take it just race by race as I've always done the last few seasons, and we'll see where we end up.
Well, that's the way to go. Thank you for the interview, man. Really well done, and see you in 2 weeks.
Yeah, thanks. I hope to be back here in 2 weeks.
It's not going to be that. It's going to be China, but yeah, we'll see you there.
We'll see. Yeah.
Okay, so Ewan, we don't have the top 2 for the interview here, but what a race! And we're going to have more action going on in Bahrain. 2 days time, Thursday, we're going to have Superleague for the final race at this circuit, and then we're going to be heading over to China, where we're going to do the Formula Challenge Super Cup and all the other races. So don't miss those for sure. Thursday we'll be back, and thank you all for watching. See you in 2 days.